I see Ruckus here. I think Hesher's making his way into the studio. We may be joined by Basil Valentine as of yet, not sure. But anyway, we're hoping he's going to join us as well. And we're going to talk about the Epstein cover-up. I think we can call it a cover-up now. And we got some more information, some more details on it. Obviously, I want to see my colleagues weighing in on this because there's obviously some information. There's a lot of information here, just confounding information. So we'll bring a Ruckus onto the stage, host of the Daily Ruckus with Alternate Current Radio. We're also going to bring on stage Hesher, host of the Boiler Room as well, joining us right now. Guys, oh, look, before we get to Epstein, did any of you catch that video by Phil Zimmerman?
Yeah, it was great.
Something else.
I have to watch it back because I was coming on and I missed it. But
it's totally bonkers.
I thought I caught a side eye of zombies, so that's interesting.
Yeah, he combined basically kind of 28 Days Later with Fight Club and the Living Dead sort of thing. I mean, and then chemtrails and a little bit of They Live in there as well, I think. But that was a pretty epic guitar solo, I have to say. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's hats off to Phil. That was very enjoyable.
We'll see. He's lingering. He might join us during the segment to talk about his. It's very catchy, though. It's a hell of a hook. I heard him sing that solo, and it was good, but I've seen him do that live at theater performances. But with the band, it really came together really well. Very talented songwriter, musician, comedian, actor. Phil is a character actor. You might have seen him in some films. He's done quite a few. Tends to do a lot in the horror genre as well, you can imagine. He does have that face. So that sort of Hollywood horror face. No, Phil's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, guys, we're going to get on to, obviously, the story here. Pam Bondi this week. I want to get your initial reactions on this. So it's been memory hold, guys. I mean, seriously, in full view. Like, what do you guys think about this? Ruckus, go ahead. What your impressions, your first impressions, thoughts, commiserations?
Are we still talking about this, Pat? This is old news. I mean,
that's what Trump said. This
yeah,
creep.
Know, right?
Are we still talking about this creep, Jeffrey Epstein, with the floods? We got the floods.
That's what sticks out most in my mind about this whole thing. We did discuss this just recently on the Boiler Room, of course, but and I think I also we talked about this. I talked about it with Sam Cheney on Weaponized News this week as well. But it's still, of all of these things that we're going to be discussing about it now, I still can't get over the fact that the president of the United States had the huevos, as they would say back in New Mexico, to gaslight the entire American public live on camera. Basically, that was amazing. I was like, wow, are we really there already? I mean, it's only like 7 months into the administration and we're already doing that. Wow. 2025 does not disappoint. I'm just absolutely shocked that they think they can get away with this. And I'm like, obviously these people aren't stupid. So I have to go through all of these mental gymnastics and various rabbit holes trying to determine, well, what's going on here? Because they're clearly allowing it to happen. They're letting it happen. That there's some sort of something else going on. Or maybe they're just really that brazen. And pride does come before a fall, as the Bible reminds us. So I'm sitting on the fence, just watching the spectacular fallout and the division happening amongst MAGA. But again, I can't believe that the president would have this much gall. This particular president, I suppose, because, the last one, Sleepy Joe, he had a lot of huevos too, except they were dragging across the floor, causing him to trip up going up the stairs. Yep.
Well, what's worse? Sleepy Joe with, comatose, senile, early onset Parkinson's Joe Biden, who was, at least has the excuse that he wasn't compos mentis. What's Trump's excuse? That's the problem here. And we're 5.5 months in, not 7, to the administration. So I know time flies when you're having fun. But so I'm thinking Ruckus, he hasn't even made it to the first year yet. So I don't think he's going to survive this term, personally. And the way he's playing fast and loose with House and Senate seats by filling up cabinet with Israel firsters, It's the Democrats have so much ammunition going into the midterms. It's incredible. So he's not done himself any favors here. Hesher, your thoughts?
Yeah, certainly warp speeding the Democrats back to relevancy. Although, like you said in your opener, they aren't seizing the moment right now, which should tell all of us quite a bit. I think you explained why they're not seizing the moment and jumping all over this. Probably because they have just as many, if not more, powerful money people and policy people and famous people on these lists as well. So, he's doing a massive favor for the entire deep state. All right, let's just put it that way. He's doing a huge favor for the Zio deep state. And so is his entire cabinet. And the Democrats are more than happy to sit there and watch this go down. Like, they are cheering right now. Democrats are cheering. Establishment Democrats are cheering for Donald Trump right now, secretly, because this is exactly what they need. And, it just goes to show when the script flips next time and the pendulum swings the other way, they're going to just continue the behavior. The political Zionism will continue. Both sides are completely embedded. Neither side will speak up when the other side uses an egregious use of policy power against the American people, against the better interest of the public, against peace, against freedom. It's crazy. And I think back to warp speed, quite frankly, Pat. It's like, let's go back to warp speed for a second here. Maybe we should rethink what he actually meant when he said warp speed, because we all thought it was in reference to the development of a particular product for a particular reason, right? Of course, we here at the Sunday Wire and Alternate Current Radio were shouting like madmen, basically trying to get people's attention, saying this is not what this is for. This is not the right thing to do. We don't even understand the problem, the source of the problem, the effect of the problem. And, so that was the first one. And it was like, okay, wait a minute. Plus, then over the months, we found out this stuff was already developed. It had been made by the Pentagon a long time ago. It's being rolled out by different corporate entities in different countries and different states with different mixtures to varying different effects, most of which were not good, fatal in some cases, many would say. So, but what is the warp speed? Was warp speed more of a longer plan? That's what I want to know, because we have warp speeded into something far beyond what was unleashed into the human genome and the public psyche in late 2020 and 2021. Now he's unleashed the ability to be the emperor with no clothes, I guess, to just say there's nothing to see here. Yes, my sons and I campaigned on this, podcasted on this, talked about this, used it as a political springboard for years on end to attack the other party. And now, who's this guy? Who's this guy that says, oh, that guy again? This guy is saying that guy? This guy's Donald Trump. And he says, oh, that guy? I don't want to hear about it. And then he uses a completely defunct dinosaur media leftist task of leaning on people's emotional bodies and saying, you can't talk about this right now. There's 180 people missing in Texas. You can't. How dare you? How dare you? You know what? He turned into Greta all of a sudden. No, fuck this guy, dude. I'm over it.
Whoa, strong words there from Hesher. He's definitely voting in the no column for Trump there. Now, this is the comment here. Little Carol, one of our more canny observers in the comment areas, if there is no client list, according to Bondi and the DOJ, what is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison for?
That's
good question.
She's in prison.
I mean, Ruckus, should she be released, seeing that supposedly, suddenly this whole thing never happened, according to the cover-up?
I cannot prove for myself that woman is actually behind bars somewhere, so I
Good
can't.
point.
I can't say.
She could be shopping at Harrods in London. We don't know. Like Leonie Helmsley, you remember that? She got off, key to the back door, flying off to Europe in a private jet. Oops! Oh my God! Did that happen? Yeah. Okay. And I will not rule out Jeff Epstein himself is in some sort of let's just say protection program or whatever, because that whole thing is completely contrived. But that's another story. We won't go down that rabbit hole just now because it's too deep. But here, never underestimate the ability of the Democrats to F it up and lose, though. Talking about the midterms. Okay, fair enough. And here we go. Sigmund Freud once said one thing correct. The psychopathology of everyday life. Well, yeah, that's Washington. That's why. So all these disasters are going on. And so it's almost like a lot of the smoke and mirrors that you're seeing, especially with regarding this whole performative strike on Iran, and now they're going after the Houthis this week, and then Trump flip-flopping and calling Putin bad names suddenly. It's to distract from this, because this thing has been brewing for 20 years. Multiple federal trials, hundreds of witness testimonies, and they're going to memory hole this? Honestly, they got first Kash Patel and Bongino said, oh, there's hundreds of hours of tapes. And we're going through that right now. And now it's like, nope, you're not going to see any of that. It doesn't exist. So basically they're saying, we can't show you any of this evidence. We can't pursue this case. And this announcement was made while Netanyahu was in Washington. So the symbolism of that, I don't think we can ignore, quite frankly. But I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Now, who is Pam Bondi? This is the question that I'm interested in. Because anytime you have a cover-up, because the last AG was a guy by the name of William Barr. Bill Barr. Who was Bill Barr? Bill Barr's father was the head of an elite private school in New York called the Dalton School. And in the late 70s or early 80s, I don't have the dates completely down, but they hired, guess who? Someone with no experience teaching to be the math and science teacher at this elite private school in New York that, I don't know, that Wall Street pays, tens of thousands a year for their kids to go to, the Dalton School. They hire, Bill Barr's father hires Jeffrey Epstein. And he was quietly shuttled out of that job after not more than a year for perhaps indiscretions with young female students there. And then he lands on his feet and ends up being a partner at some financial firm or Bear Stearns Bank not long after that.
It was one of the Rothschild ones, yeah.
Yeah. So, literally he was on this path, arguably involved in the Iran-Contra illegal financial laundering and dealings. I think that's where he made his bones.
And he was like 20 or 21 when Barr made him a professor over there, or math teacher or lecturer, whatever his title was. I'm sorry, he didn't have the educational background for it. I believe he dropped out of school. Same with the financier aspect. He had no background in financierism. There's literally zero above board reason for like a Leslie Wexner to give him power of attorney and all this stuff, like CEO status at some of his businesses. I don't know if it was Victoria's Secret or Abercrombie or which one. But it's like all these different positions that this guy got were clearly fronts, were clearly covers for something else, because he did not have the experience, the education, the on-the-job experience, just just utterly unqualified for everything he did. And that school that he ended up leaving, pretty sure he was notorious for partying with the students, the young girls.
Okay. Partying with the 14-year-olds. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So Jeff was honing his skills back then. So William Barr, who was Trump's AG in the first, he said, "Oh, we're going to get to the bottom of this Epstein thing." So my personal feeling is that William Barr knew Jeff Epstein from back then, and likely went to the parties. That's my guess. I'm just a hunch, and that he was put into that AG job to help to steer away and cover this thing up. Okay, and Pam Bondi, we'll bring her back up on screen. So how did Pam Bondi get the AG job? People have a very short memory, guys. If you remember back in November, Trump announced, they said, Matt Gaetz, the maverick congressman from Florida, that he was going to be the next AG. Trump's pick for AG is Matt Gaetz. Not that Matt Gaetz is particularly qualified to be Attorney General, if you catch my drift. But anyway, so Bondi was, Attorney General and whatnot in Florida for I think 8 years under the various, Governor DeSantis and others. She was all. There's another thing about her that came up, which I'll show you in a minute. But Matt Gaetz, AG, and everyone's like, no way. They're going to take over. They're putting the guy that was persecuted into the highest law enforcement position. This is going to be great for MAGA, right? So what happened with Matt Gaetz? The minute that was announced, he withdrew from his congressional seat, which was a solid seat. Matt Gaetz would be a future candidate for Speaker of the House, if not Senate President, Florida Senate, maybe future president. He's a maverick, but he votes against Israel. Okay, he voted against the Anti-Semitism Act. He voted to pull troops out of Syria. So clearly he's an enemy of Israel. So he was set up in a sex scandal. It was clearly a setup, and it involved people, in tangential to the Israeli scene. And I won't, those who are familiar with the case know it was a fit up, and know that there was some very weird Israeli elements in it. And looked like it was designed to discredit and wound Matt Gaetz. So when Trump announced he was the pick for AG, all of a sudden they ramped up that scandal again, even though it was done and dusted. And then Trump said, and the administration says, well, we can't proceed forward. And Matt Gaetz said, this is for the best of the Trump transition team, I'm going to step back. Okay. So he vacated a safe House seat. He was a powerhouse. He dumped McCarthy. He ejected the last speaker. That's how much power Matt Gaetz had. They removed him from the House, got him out of politics, and then did a Kansas City shuffle, bait and switch, to get him to relinquish his seat, promise him the AG, and then yanked the rug out from under him for AG. And then guess who comes in? The person who was going to bury the Epstein story, Pam Bondi, Florida Mafia. Guys, do you see what just happened here? That's my reading on it, and I've spoke to people in Washington. That some of them who are, let's say, in the conservative circles, right in there, they said that's very plausible. That's very plausible. So it didn't make sense at the time. Why would you take one of the strongest Republicans out of the House and then rug pull him on an AG position? And now I know why, because of this. So Matt Gaetz is a sacrificial lamb at the altar of a foreign government. Thoughts, gentlemen? Chime in.
Matt Gaetz is one of the, alongside Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is used quite frequently to, before Trump was elected, to demonize the entire Republican Party, the entire MAGA movement, and by proxy, Trump himself. And then as soon as he got elected, he starts throwing these types of people under the bus. These are two serious breakaways from the going narrative, especially concerning the Israeli lobby thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene was just running around doing an appearance with Tucker, saying some incredibly incendiary, maybe she should be sanctioned by Marco Rubio type of things. And then, Matt Gaetz. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that these people who they for so long try to demonize and set up there, it's useful to do that for both sides when it's convenient for them. So, although Trump may have been like best buddies with them while they were, shared a common enemy, I believe that they're now considered an enemy to the current Israel / MAGA thing. The Pam Bondi thing is crazy,
Tucker's been thrown under the bus, Ruckus.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no, he's a Russian agent. I mean, he went to Moscow and said that the grocery stores are clean, the subways are clean. So obviously he works for Putin.
But Trump threw Tucker under the bus.
Yeah, of course. This is what I'm saying is like, that's why people can't you see what he's doing? He's gathered up all these useful toys, and it's like the Toy Story meme. When he's done, he's just like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Just throws it on the floor. It's really quite disturbing and in your face. It's quite obvious at this point. I don't know why would you support this? Is probably why people that we know personally have finally decided to literally set their MAGA hats on fire and stream it on their social media platforms.
Really?
So yeah.
Wow. So they've thrown Tucker under the bus. He's thrown Thomas Massie under the bus. Rand Paul was so loyal to Trump during the first term, during the impeachment and everything. He was always complimentary to Trump, even though they probably differ on a lot of fundamental things. And Trump just basically crucified Rand Paul because he had questions with the huge deficits in the big, beautiful bill. And so he's like, no, you're persona non grata. So it's interesting. So Donald Trump is not, MAGA's finished, guys. I think the Camelot days, it was a quick honeymoon, January, February, March. The Elon thing, he threw Elon under the bus. Elon threw Trump under they both threw each other under the bus, under the Tesla. And so Trump can't keep a coalition. Instead, he's got Rubio, Hegseth, Ratcliffe, Bondi. He's got his show of force. He can't do anything in public anymore without like 4 or 5 people doing a wall of power. Okay, I've never seen a president that required this level of performative theatrics. It's never seen before. Not only that, the Secretary of State can't hold the stage by himself. So this is like communist China. This is like the Politburo. That's what this is. They're doing nothing. They've achieved nothing. They have had no success foreign policy wise. And they fumbled everything. He's gone back on every single promise. He courted the peace vote, like Ruckus was saying, campaigned on Epstein to get the votes from the conspiratorial crowd and the MAGAs and the QAnons and whatnot. He courted the peace crowd with, I'm going to end the wars, just like Obama did. And what's Trump done? He started a couple of new ones. So, I mean, and the economy, the tariff wars, not going well. Not going well. I don't know what to say about this guy, but it's just a train wreck. I can't see it getting any better because his attitude, do you notice his attitude? Like he's now very caustic and attacking with everybody in the press and then just slandering and, admonishing everybody. Have you noticed this?
Yeah. His Truth Social posts are insane. Absolutely insane. Last night, Ruckus and Mystical Pharaoh, who, by the way, if you go to his X account, is one of those people that said F Trump, buried his MAGA hat and torched it, lit it on fire and buried it. But they were talking in the Discord last night and they were sharing some of Trump's Truth Socials. And it's just insane. It's madness. It's not, to say it's not presidential would be a ridiculous understatement. I mean, we have gone way beyond that. I mean, I don't know if we've had a presidential, social commentary that was worth a crap from a president since like maybe Bill Clinton, who was fronting the whole time anyways and just doing the same thing these people are, but there was no internet, so and then back to your original question, Pam Blondie. Yeah, sure, she's a lawyer, but maybe more importantly, she was a lobbyist, like many lobbyists are.
Okay, now you're talking. Now you're talking.
I think you need to be a lawyer to be an effective lobbyist, probably, because this is the stupidest, lamest, most un-American, corrupt, nation-destroying job title we have in this frickin' country. Lobbyist. You are scum. I'm sorry. Maybe there's some good lobbyists out there that lobby for good things, but if there are, they're outshined by the political Zionist lobby, the big pharma lobby, the big military lobby, the big ag lobby. My goodness. Like, if you are a well-intentioned America First lobbyist, I don't know who the hell is paying you to do that, first of all. And if you are, you're up against people that are being paid a lot more to undermine what you're trying to fix. So Pam Blondie in 2019 was hired by Ballard Partners, which is a firm with close ties to Trump. And she started working as a registered foreign agent, right? She had to commit herself to the FARA Act, the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And she was a lobbyist for the embassy of the state of Qatar. And she resigned as a foreign agent for the embassy of the state of Qatar and as a partner in the lobbyist firm of Ballard Partners under the, she did the Foreign Agents Act. And then she left the Qatari project in 2019 to work a temporary position for the White House counsel for President Trump's first impeachment proceedings. Also, as a partner at Ballard Partners, she became a lobbyist for KGL KSCC, a company incorporated in Kuwait. And what were they interested in? You'll find this very intriguing if you don't already know. That KGL KSCC lobbying activity, according to the filed federal lobbying report, they were interested in issues related to potential global Magnitsky Act violations and imprisonment. And this act is a law which allows the U.S. government to sanction government officials implicated in human rights abuses or extreme corruption anywhere in the world. So that's
except Israel. Except Israel.
Yeah, except Israel. Exactly. So if you wanted to protect the country that was committing the most egregious human rights violations, maybe in modern history, well, wouldn't it just be perfect to have someone like her, this fungible lobbyist who's also a lawyer, who acts like a super conservative when it benefits her, also acts like a super liberal after Pulse nightclub happened in Florida and started parading around with the rainbow flag. She's also been the attorney for a number of cases that were skewed, if you will. She even moved the She convinced what was it, Governor? What was the other governor of Florida? Was it
Rick Scott? I can't remember who the.
Rick Scott. Yeah. She convinced Rick Scott to hold an execution off because of some other public event or something like that. So she's the type of person that will do anything. She's been anti 2A and then this term sort of pro 2A. So it's like she's not trustworthy. She doesn't have a judicial mind. She has a mind of policy, geopolitical policy, sanctions. Who knew she was so invested in Middle Eastern countries? What does that mean? So I
think she's a former prosecutor as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Maybe she started as that, if I got my resume right. And those types of people tend to be into, good at the punitive side, like Kamala Harris. They're the nasty edge of the wedge. They seem to have a dab hand at that. So yeah, I mean, point taken. Before we go any further, Hesher, you have fans. Kurt Boss, Hesher knows his shirt. Yeah, you're rocking the killer clown world there. Yeah,
Killer clowns from outer space. I feel like that's what we're dealing with.
that's kind of like where we're at, I think. And I'm waiting for the invasion. If it happens, Phil Zimmerman will be shooting the video for that, no doubt.
Patrick, did you catch I don't have her name to hand. Maybe Ruckus will remember. I linked him to it, but the one of the other Epstein victims went public again this last week, and she was like, telling the story of, she was one of the ones that claims that Andrew, what is he, Prince Andrew or whatever he is?
Yeah, Prince Andrew.
Yeah, it was, she was one of his girls basically in Epstein's little perversion party. And she's, going through and she's telling the interviewer the story, but then she switches into this David Ickean phase, and she says that, I'm paraphrasing, but she says basically that Epstein turned into some sort of non-human looking entity. Reptilian was a word that she used. And I just immediately paused it and I sent it to the Boiler Room team, and I was like, guys, like, this is not helping the case here. Like, of course this person's out there, and I don't, and I think that, maybe she's was so mind messed with, like they do things to these people that they put in these situations. We have to accept that these kind of things happen, that, various levels of hypnosis attempts, techniques are used on some of the victims, from stories that we've heard from other people. So it is possible that she was in some sort of mental state where she perceived it that way. But the fact that all these years later, after, just reptilian people has become, like the they live sort of theory, like in real life, is just something that turns most people off. And regardless,
yeah, it's like a giant anvil for it, just drags everything down to the bottom of the conspiratorial sea. Before we go any further, guys, Hesher, let's get back to the real issues. You brought up an important one, which is Ballard and partners. So, great minds think alike. I was just looking into them earlier today, and we'll show that for a minute. Let's bring Ballard up on screen just to provide some context here. And there's some interesting things I found out about that. Obviously, she's been under the sort of scrutiny on this for a while. This is U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee here. This was dated the 1st of January of this year. So obviously, this is the confirmation committee getting ready. Pam Bonie's excessive lobbying for wealthy special interests and foreign governments poses serious conflict of interest. Now, guys, when I saw this, I immediately did a search for guess who when we talk about foreign governments, right? Guess who? And I couldn't find it, but that's what my thought was, is she's working for the Israeli lobby. And as one would expect with our completely cuckolded Congress and Senate, they don't mention Israel in this. So I looked down and it's Qatar, right? And the Geo Group and so forth. Obviously, if we look into some of these companies, we will find Israeli interests. But that's not what we're talking about. It's Dick Durbin, of course, a total stooge for the lobby. So this is kind of a controlled WWF wrestling situation going on here, right? And so let's look into the real story, though. I did a little searching on Ballard, and it's amazing what you can do with a search engine, guys. If you have 15 seconds, I immediately go straight to the search engine, and I'm thinking, okay, let me see. If I type in Ballard partners, and let me just pick a country randomly. How about Israel? And it's literally that easy, guys. I mean, research has never been simpler in the internet age. The secret is you have to know what you're looking for. If you know what you're looking for, it's there. And let's bring that up on screen. And lo and behold, we'll bring this up on screen. Ballard Partners has an office in guess where? Tel Aviv. They may not have an office after the Iranian missile salvos, but anyway, they used to have an office in Tel Aviv. I guess it's still there. And so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, so she works for a lobbyist that represents the state of Israel. Isn't that amazing? They even have offices in Tel Aviv. Okay? This is one of their most important international offices. So Pam Bondi works for them. So if you wanted a freedom of information request or you wanted to dig, you want to know how many trips Pam Bondi made to Israel while she was working for Ballard, and you want to know what other interactions she had with the Israel portfolio. It's very important. So what does this mean, guys? This means that Netanyahu and the Israelis knew Pam Bondi, not as the Florida AG, but as a lobbyist for a firm that represents them, that represents the country, the government of Israel. Okay? So I want to know more information of that because I want to know how deep her connections go, because I know that Matt Gaetz was railroaded intentionally so that she could get the job. But it was done in a way, it was the whole theatrical skit with Matt Gaetz and the AG thing was performed in such a way that it made the public think that this was a series of events that kind of just happened, and then they went, Bondi was the next qualified person. So they killed two birds with one stone. They got rid of Matt Gaetz, they discredited him, and they got in the girl that they wanted, Israel. Israel picked the AG. That's my personal reading on this. I mean, I don't think it's that conspiratorial, considering everyone knows the whole Matt Gaetz thing was a scam set up by Israeli interests to discredit him. The only congressman, I think, one of the only ones that voted against the anti-Semitism bill when it first came. You remember that a year and a half ago? That was Gaetz. And the only person, one of the only people that said to pull the bill, support the bill to pull our troops out of Syria. Okay, he was pretty much alone, save from a couple, on that as a Republican. So this just makes perfect sense. I'm glad you brought up Ballard Partners, Hesher, because you're on the right track with the law. Because guys, involved in lobbying, it's a dirty business. So all you have to do is just pull on that thread. And this is what we find. So are you guys, I wasn't surprised to find this, quite frankly. Go ahead. Anybody want to jump in here? I'll bring some comments in as well.
This failure to create some sort of distinction of Israel as being a foreign government, especially when discussing about it from the side of being the United States government, does that imply that there's absolutely no separation, no distinction between the two? It's almost as if they operate as one giant solo entity. Just pointing that maybe that's how that, because the words do matter. It's all about the language, especially for lawyers. So maybe that's their cover your ass way to like, well, yeah, we're not talking about Israel because we are Israel. To them, they don't distinct, between the two. I don't know, distinguish between the two. Really quick, Patrick, the crazy alien lady aside, did you happen to see how Laura Loomer took the scam Bondi thing? Because another group of people who have been thrown under the bus lately by the Donald is, of course, these MAGA blue checkmark conservatives. But just recently, her response to this is like, because nobody's buying this Bondi thing, so even she's upset about it, and she believes that scam Bondi's got to go, and she has a much better solution. She wants to nominate David Schoen as the U.S. Attorney General. So I thought you would find that incredibly interesting. In case you didn't know what his history is, he's represented some pretty high profile people, including none other than financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, look, I'm glad you brought this up, Ruckus. Okay, Laura Loomer is basically a misdirection actor. She works for Israel quite clearly. She's quite open about she's batting for Israel, so I assume she's working for the cause either officially or unofficially. So whatever she's saying, and I noticed this, Megyn Kelly as well. Megyn Kelly was at Turning Point, and she said, Pam Bondi has to go. This is Pam Bondi's fault. Are you people kidding me? You don't think that Trump is also involved? I mean, nothing happens in the Trump administration without Trump's giving it the thumbs up. He runs a vertical government with the cabinet. They can't do anything, say anything that's outside of his purview, right? You guys know that. Otherwise, you get sacked. That's the way Trump is running the government. He's micromanaging because he's also paranoid, because he himself doesn't have the skills or the ability, or he can't, basically doesn't have the comprehension skills to understand all the foreign policy stuff. Plus, he is absolutely compromised when it comes to Israel. So Megyn Kelly is doing also public misdirection. And so because she probably wants, listen, all these mainstream media people, when they're out of the mainstream, they might be doing podcasts, but every single mainstream person I know, they're gagging to get another mainstream gig at some point. And 'cause the money's too good, the workload is nothing, and the basically golden parachutes and everything else. So so she's basically probably wants a job in the Trump administration. So she's pushing on this, but she doesn't want to throw Trump under the bus. Trump needs to go under the bus. I thought the buck stops with the CEO. I thought Donald is America's CEO. But he's not on the chopping block. So Laura Loomer's saying Bondi's got to go. They're all basically doing the same thing, these people. And the reality is this administration is corrupt to the core. The entire cabinet is corrupt and compromised. The president of the United States is captured by a foreign government. Okay? Arguably, holding his family members hostage in a certain type of way. You could read that, of course. So Trump's the problem. He's owned and operated. Not that Biden wasn't, but the level of penetration of the Israelis into the Trump's life, his family. He's basically the New York synagogues or whatever the what are they called? The Chabad. They've got him basically by the neck, so he can't do anything. So all these people don't. I'm telling you, Loomer. I mean, bad news. So she's basically turned into an agent provocateur, probably working on behalf of the Israelis. I think most certainly. And where's Mike Cernovich on this Epstein thing? Is he gone quiet? He blocked me, so I can't look at his tweets.
I never see his stuff. I have no idea why.
He feels threatened by me, or I don't know why he blocked me, but anyway.
Plenty of reasons from our 2016, 17, 18, and 19 coverage, I'm sure.
Probably. But anyway, what's Mike Cernovich have to say? Because wasn't he one of the people handpicked to receive the Epstein files on the White House lawn with Libs of TikTok and Liz Wheeler and
well, I think anyone that got their hands on the binder are the true believers, still believing in all of this and doubling down and defending it. Although some of them are offering, like with the Laura Loomer, for instance, there are some people who are like, well, they still believe Trump did that. Oh, you've got traitors within your ranks, so you need to get them out, and they're playing that stupid game. So it's not none of it's helping.
But if you go against Trump, you will not get access to the White House. You will not get given anything. You won't be invited to Mar-a-Lago and all the sort of benefits that come with it. So that all those Bennies, Benny, you know who I'm talking about? Benny, the conservative podcaster.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
What's his last name again?
Johnson, maybe.
Benny Johnson. Yeah, he's a real piece of work, isn't he? Talk about fake. I won't say the other part, but let's just say fake.
I watched all of Megyn Kelly's copes yesterday.
You saw that?
Spore and I sat down and watched them, and I had to pause. Like, poor Spore. I'm sorry, Spore, if you're watching. I had to pause like 6 times during that and do what we're doing right now, kind of break it down, just to myself and to her, so that like I wouldn't forget any of it. And my first thought was, okay, so Megyn Kelly, what a crafty, to many people, what a crafty analysis that she came out with, right? Because it's like she comes out and she's mad. She's mad about Epstein. She's mad that President Trump, softcore mad, just peeved. She's peeved that Donald Trump's called Epstein that guy, and she even showed some of the 1992 pictures, if I recall. And then she like softballs it the whole way through, talks about how bad this is, how people do care about it, and how MAGA's upset, you know, and it's like, okay, cool, you know, MAGA's along with me. And then she goes, well, I did see Scott Adams come up with an interesting take on it, and I didn't go source his take, but what she paraphrased from him was basically that this has to happen or wars will continue. Right? Same line that we got when Donald Trump allegedly called Candace Owens and told her to stop talking about Brigitte Macron. If you don't stop talking about this, the war in Ukraine will continue, and the deaths of, you know, tens of thousands of more Russians and Ukrainians will be on you, Candace Owens. And it's like, wait, what? How? Like, nobody wants to talk about how or why. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And then she goes to Turning Point USA or CPAC or one of those, and she kind of did the same thing. Like, she gets the crowd rowdy about Epstein and then blames Scam Blondie. You know, as like she had the authority to be the media person via the Trump administration to toss shade at Scam Blondie, and it's like it's feckless, it's toothless, it's, you know, we know it's meaningless. There she is, right there, Turning Point USA. Like, she is such a slick operator. Whoever, like, you know, helps her produce this and sets her up with her angles. They put a lot.
Listen, Megyn Kelly is very smart. She's a trained lawyer. She's wicked smart. Okay, but she's also a little bit disingenuous. And she's kind of, it's kind of obvious here. Let's just play this and just kind of, yeah. Someone's saying here, slick operator. You better believe it. You better believe it. She is one of the best. Listen to her for a minute here, and she's with Charlie Kirk here, who looks like, what was that, Beavis and Butthead? Remember that cartoon? He reminds me of one of them. Which one is
Todd? Yeah, I don't know. Or is it Beavis or Butthead?
Charlie Kirk.
It would be Butthead or Todd, probably.
Is a carnival barker of the highest order.
Todd, though, that's for sure.
Yeah. Here's Megyn Kelly.
Tuesday.
Nothing's going on. Has anyone been on X in the past hour?
They're happy. That's why, you know, they haven't
That's
been
right.
on social media.
We'll update you.
Why don't you update them, Megyn?
Well, this is the first big scandal, I'd say, of the Trump administration that's on Team Rational. It's not a fake media scandal like the left tries to create for President Trump every other day. It's one of the right's own making, and it's not going well. And it has to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. Let me just ask you, make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Raise your hand if it matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So every hand of 7,000 people.
Everybody cares. I think
a lot. I said a lot. Every hand.
Look, Charlie Kirk would be just as happy to see this thing dead and buried. The only reason he's giving it oxygen is because he has to, because the base won it. He himself, these two people, Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk, they weren't on this story way back when. They you know, it might have mildly amused them, and then when it became a thing, and they sort of added it to their, you know, roster of stories that they would shout about in order to own the Dems, because the Clintons were involved and so forth. But he himself, you can tell, he just doesn't want to deal with this because it's getting close to Trump. But don't worry, Megyn has a solution.
Here's what I think is happening. I don't think President Trump is focused on this. He's focused on a lot of other things which are going great, and he needs to be focused on those other things.
Trump is doing so great right now. Everything's going so great that he can't be focused on this Epstein thing. I mean, she's gagging for a job in the administration.
Jeffrey Epstein's not the most important thing on his agenda by any stretch of the imagination.
Really? Do you guys agree with that?
He said as much, right?
I think it
Are
is.
people still talking about this?
I think it is important. That's why it's being covered up. Megyn Kelly, I mean, she's really, you know, she's swinging for the fence here, guys.
I mean, he's crushing it on the tariffs, foreign policy, just got nominated.
He's crushing it on the tariffs. He's crushing the fucking U.S. economy. Sorry. Pardon my French. He's crushing the U.S. economy. That's what he's crushing, Megan.
He's crushing people with his foreign policy too.
Literally.
They should call this talking point instead of turning point.
Talking Points USA. Oh, I like that, Ruckus. That has legs. That actually has legs.
Yeah.
We're gonna redo the logo. I think that's gonna happen.
Nobel Peace Prize. If not Trump, then who? Honestly. Barack Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize after 9 months in office. He had done nothing.
She's so thick, okay? She's smart, but she's also... Look, Donald Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, that's how desperate she is to ingratiate herself with power, okay? And then Barack Obama, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he got it in his first month in office, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Not 9 months. So she got that wrong as a journalist. She should be fact-checked. I don't know if that's correct, guys, but I think he got it in February 2009. If I'm not, someone look that up, please. If that's the case, Megan doesn't know what she's talking about. Obviously, she got the dates wrong. It's okay. Facts don't matter. It's you in the world of that journalism. Here, hold on.
He gave a nice speech about Muslims, and they gave it to him. So President Trump should be getting the Nobel
So she pulls the Muslim card. Again, great. Ticks that box for Turning Point.
Peace Prize, and there's all sorts of things he's focused on. I just don't think this has captured his attention quite yet. But it needs to, because it's starting to create a real hornet's nest within the administration. And I've got to be honest, I blame Pam Bondi.
Of course.
I'll tell you why, okay? I have nothing, yes, incompetence, yes. I have nothing against Pam Bondi as a human being. I was fine with her nomination and her confirmation, and she's been loyal to the president, and I get that President Trump needs a loyal attorney general. Look what happened with Sessions the first time. He went away, and then the next thing you know, we had the Mueller investigation, and it was a nightmare. But there are a lot of other people who can be loyal and competent in that job. Here, she is the reason that things are unraveling around this story.
Look at Charlie Kirk just fidgeting, touching his ear. I mean, he's nervous as hell. He's like, this is the segment that's got to end. So Megyn Kelly, this is just ridiculous cope, Hesher, as you were saying. She's like, oh, it's Pam Bondi, incompetence. Do you really think Pam Bondi calls the shots on this? Are you guys serious?
It's so stupid. It's so unbelievable. Like, there's not even, you notice how when they asked the crowd, who cares about the Epstein case, everybody cheered. And then when she pivoted to blame Pam Bondi, 4 people cheered.
Yeah. So she's playing an agenda, right?
Yeah, this is a shell game. This is a blame game. And, the other 2 people that are being thrown under the bus right now, deservedly, is this what Kash Patel and Bongino, holy crap, is this what you guys signed up for? Is the money good enough to lose your entire reputation, your entire podcast audience, YouTube blowhards? You gotta be kidding me. And now this week, I've absolutely just been Michael Jackson with popcorn gif, watching the entire nation realize that Kash Patel is a completely controlled piece of fake opposition whose wife was an IDF agent in the 8200 unit or something like that. She's 20 years younger than him.
She was with PragerU,
and the ultimate Zionist media outlet in the United States, masquerading as MAGA. So, these guys, I'm sorry, your reputation is done, dusted. If you guys are in government when I'm 60 or 70 years old, I don't even know what to say. This country is done and dusted.
And so Ian Taft said, what does reputation mean amongst these people anyway? Good question.
They don't care.
They don't care. There we go. It's all catching on, Ruckus. You see, it's catching on. Talking Points USA. It's already catching on.
Hesher, I wonder if these people actually do this kind of stuff for the money or if it's for another reason.
Yeah. Well, we know the like, what is it? There's a list. We've talked about it before. I don't have them all in my brain, but there's a list of
There
like
is no list, Hesher. That was just made
no,
up
no,
by the
not
crazy
Epstein's
Democrats.
list. No, no, I'm talking
kidding.
about the methods of influence list. You know, it's like buy the person, sex the person, threaten the person's family, give the person a job. You know what I mean? There's this whole like matrix of how to control people. And, you know, unfortunately, when people are offered, you know, high paying gigs and contracts that sound good from shady people, most people got a price, and you know, I guess that's what we're looking at here. But what form of influence was it? Was it the simple pedestrian? It was like, what influences you? Is it cash? You know, is it human contact? Is it skin on skin? Is it rent boys? Is it prostitutes? Is it something even more illegal that we don't like to talk about, that is the nexus of this entire conversation?
It's just a giant machine that's always, the gears are always turning on this. That's all. It's here's Kash Patel's GF is a Zio fembot. Look, I mean, of course there's hypergamy, but you know, 20 years his junior, you know, he's obviously got a he's landed very quickly this high profile position, so he didn't have it before. He was known to be, you know, been courted for some kind of position in the Trump administration. Nobody knew it would be FBI director, but there he is. So what if the Israelis said they want him in as FBI director? And then this person would know he was going to be FBI director. And not only that, Kash Patel made some very strange statement. We need to focus on protecting Israel. Do you remember that media statement? It was a couple of months ago. And I thought, why is the FBI director talking about Israel? I don't know. Where's that coming from? Well, that's where it's coming from. So that's a little bit of an issue.
Kennedy did the same thing from his position. Made no sense.
I don't know. I got a problem with it. So I think Kash is, I've seen many interviews with him. I think he's a genuine guy. He's a good guy. His heart's in the right place. He was badly done by in the last administration, the whole Russiagate thing. In some ways, he is a good person to clean up the agency in some ways, but I don't think he's strong enough. Clearly, he seems to be captured, so he's not really up for the job in all senses of the word. Obviously, I'm hoping for the best, but it's not a good.
If he's compromised in his own house, you know what I mean? Like that kind of compromisation, your wife, your domestic partner, your husband, whatever the case may be. You know, we could talk about John Fetterman too, but you know, a lot of the spouses are handlers, and we've got, you know, hard examples of that happening over history, and a lot of people that are potentials right now for that category. And I mean, he's a prime candidate, and it's like, maybe he did have good intentions. You can have the best of intentions and come across a woman like that, and you know, get married up, and all of a sudden, you know, you're not autonomous anymore. You're part of a team. Your life depends on it. Your household depends on it. Maybe your children depend on it. Some of these fake wives and husbands from the, you know, intelligence agencies, they go all the way, man. They'll give you kids, they'll, you know, whatever, you know, they entrench themselves in their lives. And all of America, or at least a large portion of America right now, is asking that question about Kash and his wife.
And look, do you know who took Matt Gaetz's House seat? Randy Fine.
Randy Fine.
Just a few IQ points better than Fetterman. And, you know, he's built like the Goodyear blimp, but he is the most ferocious Zionist. And I think he's a dual passport holder with Israel. I'm not sure, but that's who took Gaetz's seat. Think about that, guys, for a moment. And really didn't have to earn it. You know, he didn't go against Matt Gaetz to get that seat, obviously. Just put that on the board for a moment. But Kurt Boss, look at this. Kurt Boss is basically flexing here. He's saying, I'm months ahead of everyone, Patrick. You should highlight my comments. You got to appreciate the chutzpah. Honestly, I give Kurt Boss top marks for the chutzpah.
Kurt has had some great comments tonight. I appreciate
He's flexing.
it. Yeah.
He's flexing hard. I like that. So, and he is. Kurt's on the money, but there's other people who are on the money as well. This is good. Believe nothing until it's been officially denied. Otto von Bismarck. He's a man who would know. One of the great all-time statesmen and commanders there. And so, yeah, you guys, look at the Trump family. I mean, he married into the Kushners. The Kushners, Jared Kushner's father is a convicted felon and one of the most underhanded, kind of Zionist operatives. And look at his case file. I mean, it's crazy. So, and Chelsea Clinton, Marvin Mavinsky, and her son, convicted Jewish lobby tangential felon. So think of the 2016 election, Trump versus Clinton. No matter who won, Israel wins. You see that? Isn't that amazing? The mirror between Hillary and Trump.
And what is the win? Because I thought about this a lot over the years. Like, to me, it's multifaceted. There's a lot of wins we could point at, but like maybe the biggest accomplishment has been polarizing the American people. Has been, the culmination of the culture war, milieu being grafted to the sickest parts of it being grafted onto basically the Obama crowd as Obama was coming out. And then all the worst aspects of conservative thought, and just not even the worst, just the most angsty, the angriest, the loudest voices that wanted to return to like a constitutional framework. Now they've been destroyed. Okay. So it's like Trump getting in instead of Hillary. A lot of people didn't understand it and would not entertain the fact that maybe that was a selection instead of an election, which is still up for debate. But when you look at who benefited and how they benefited, they have destroyed this country. The identity politics have turned us into a civilization, a society that don't know how to speak to each other, that don't understand the context in which they live. And it gets worse every time the pendulum swings to the other side because of the way these buffoons, clowns, actors, lobbyists, fake podcasters, the way that they behave, their talking points USA delivery, as Ruckus called it, has completely destroyed the fabric of family, of politics, of a desire for life, liberty, and happiness in this country. And that's going to be the thing. That's the Humpty Dumpty. That's the genie that's out of the bottle. That's the toothpaste we're not going to be able to put back in the tube. That we're not going to rally around a politician or a political party ever again in any sort of realistic way, because this was a huge farce.
It's a rug pull. It's a big rug pull. Hector Seda, fame, fortune, and money, ... and then blackmail. Kind of, yeah, he's kind of on the money there. Hector is no slouch. He's one of our more intelligent commenters. So is Rupert Fellows, guys, because this is what it's all about, guys, right here. Rupert's nailed this. He said the tapes and the hard drives were taken from Epstein's walk-in safe by the FBI is where all the dirt is. Yeah, the dirt's still there, guys. That's the point. It's being kept because that is the most valuable dirt on the planet. That dirt is gold. That dirt is gold, and it's worth. And this is what you got to understand about the blackmailing and between the press, law enforcement, government, and all these intelligence services. The stuff that doesn't make it to the public, that's the real valuable stuff. And it remains valuable so long as it's suppressed. And it's used to move mountains and borders and overthrow governments and you name it. And so if you read, John Perkins and you read some of these more deep state diarists, you'll know that there is a gray area there. And it wouldn't make sense to any of us, of course, but I'll bet you the real story here is wild and it's connected to so many different things that we couldn't possibly comprehend, because that's just the nature of people and overlapping networks. But that dirt will stay in the safe and it'll be used by everybody, successive administrations, foreign intelligence services. And let's get back to this, because we have to underline this point here. We'll remove Megan. Thank you very much. Goodbye, Megan. This is the point, guys. Look at that. It's the woman on your right-hand side with the short hair and the brunette. She is the key person, you guys. That is Ghislaine Maxwell, okay? She is the brains behind the Epstein operation. And do you really think her dad, being regarded as one of the most significant Israeli intelligence operatives of all time, and she is British, mixed in with the aristocracy, friends with the royal family, do you really think that she is not, at least in some part, working for British intelligence? I mean, that'd be very naive to think so. So when you think of the U.S., Israel, and Britain, that is one unit. That is one unit. Now, that unit might be screwing each other. The wings of that unit might be screwing each other now and again, but ultimately they move in the same direction. Okay? So Ghislaine Maxwell is the key person. You haven't heard from her. She knows where all the bodies are buried. She's the brains of the operation. She has the pedigree. Her dad is Robert Maxwell. Okay? Talk about pedigree and clout. She's got it all. And so she's friends with the Clintons, friends with the Trumps. They all know her. She's a socialite in New York, London, Paris, very well connected. So you know, we hear a lot about U.S. intelligence. We hear a lot about Israeli intelligence. You won't hear anything about British intelligence because that's how good they are. Okay? And so when we talk about blackmailing and all this other stuff, don't leave the British out, because I'm telling you, they're probably right in there, thick as thieves, right in there. That's the point that people got to understand. There's aspects of this that we don't even see yet, don't even know. Three-headed snake, you better believe it, John McGuire. It is a three-headed snake. Guys, we're going to wrap this show up pretty soon. I want to give you guys some final comments. Obviously, we've gone deep on some of this stuff, maybe a lot deeper than we plan to go, but kind of shows you how deep this rabbit hole goes. What do you guys think? I mean, there's a bunch of other stories we could talk about, but I felt like this thing had to be fleshed out. I'll be curating a few comments in the background while I get your final thoughts. We'll go for Ruckus first, and then Hesher. Ruckus, what's your summation of all this?
The Epstein thing is not going away, but if Trump has his way, it will. What you were mentioning there earlier on, Hesher, about how we were all hanging out, having a little bit of a late night discussion last night, that is the biggest new piece of all of this bizarre cope coming from the president himself. He went on Truth Social, posted like 2 pages worth of a bizarre rant, all in capital letters, and hidden among that is the fact he's literally saying that now the Epstein files were completely made up by Obama, Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and the radical, crazy, lefty lunatards. I'm paraphrasing here, but that's literally what. So that's it's like they're just going to keep continuously doubling down, tripling down, and just probably, hopefully, wait until the 24-hour news cycle kicks in. Bitcoin just hit an all-time high. Maybe they'll distract everybody with that because it's quote-unquote crypto week next week. So I'm guessing that they've got a few surprises, things that are going to make America look like they're winning to keep everybody's minds off of this. Meanwhile, it'll probably be independent journalists such as us and a few crazy leftist libtard whack jobs on their blue sky will be the last people to talk about it. Yeah. And as far as Megyn Kelly's concerned, I'm not so convinced, Patrick, that she's vying for a political position. I think she's very good at her job, and she wants to maintain that job. So she was.
Oh, got a
We've
freeze
got
there.
major storms going, Patrick. There's a chance Ruckus just lost his power. Big
Okay.
thunderstrike right when he went.
Well, hopefully he'll come back. So we'll leave the door open for Ruckus if he's able to come back. Yeah, but I get where he was going with that, and yeah, there's other some other stuff drifting in that's really interesting. Wexner brothers, we're real effing anti-human. Okay, right. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, where are you at with all this right now, Hesher?
Well, someone in the chat said, imagine if Obama had been hanging with Epstein. And I thought that was a really great comment, because my immediate thought to that was, he didn't have to. They had Diddy for him. You know what I mean? And look what just happened with Diddy. Like they're what I'm seeing right now is the deep state.
Up, we got another freeze there as well. I think Texas has been hit by a major storm. We do have reportage. Let me just check here. Texas. Let me see. Ouch. Yes. Power outages in the Austin area. Yep. That's not far from where our teammates are broadcasting from. Anyway, we left the door open. They might pop up. We will wrap it up. So yeah, it is. This is quite the apocalypse, the lifting of the veil, and as we said before, this really marks the end of Trump Camelot. It's over. It's over. So I think no matter what, this story and everything it represents is really, it's just this week. That's it. The mask's off. Trump can't pretend to be a populist anymore, and that's the end of that. So we, I will stop them. Hesber got us tracked. Yeah, we got some interesting comments going on here, you guys. There you go. The deep state is shutting down the stream. You better believe it. We have thrown too many truth bombs in. I think I see Hesher's coming back. Just waiting for him to reboot his studio. But yeah, we'll bring him up in a moment. But anyway, that's where it's at, folks. This is where it's at. Trump, it's the MAGA honeymoon is over. Camelot's over. All those things that were promised are not going to happen. We're into the world of cover-ups and fakery now, and that's just the way it's going to be with this president. There he is. No matter how many hand gestures Donald Trump does, how many denials, saying fake news media, whatever, it's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work. He's on the wrong side of every single issue. So this is an absolute train wreck. It's yeah, this is it. Look at this Kurt Boss again. He's on the money. Trump can't go back from this betrayal against his base. Up, he said some profanity there. I don't endorse that. I don't endorse the profanity, folks. But you know, we do get comments in here. Obviously, we're trying to screen them as best we can. We don't have a boiler room in Bangalore doing it for us like Instagram does. So unfortunately, we have to do this on the fly. Yep. Here we go. Let me see what Adam Clark's come in with a comment here that took out Hesher. Yeah, I think we're talking about something. Hesher's come back. I see Hesher there, but he hasn't got his studio background kind of a level there. I think he's trying to basically reboot or something like that. Yeah, folks, that's where we're at. Donald Trump's toast in terms of his credibility. So it's just not going to happen. There we go. Bring Hesher back up on stage. There he is. Yeah. What's that? Is that a power outage with the storm, Hesher?
Yeah. Let me turn my light on real quick here. It knocked all my lights off.
Oh, wow. See, this is live TV, folks. Got real like action here. Climate change, breaking. Climate change hits Texas. Big time
hitting us. So before I was so rudely interrupted by the weather modification people or God there, I'm not sure which. I was trying to say that I feel like right now the Trump administration or whatever, the deep state via the Trump administration, they're tying up all the loose ends. And I think this is something noteworthy and that we should consider. Diddy, loose ends tied, case closed, right? No RICO, maybe 15 years for good behavior. We saw how that worked out for Jeffrey. He was only in jail 6 days a week, and he was able to drive his car and have a television mounted on the wall and take meetings and all this stuff. Wouldn't be surprised if Diddy's experience isn't similar. So we didn't need Obama to hang with Epstein because we had this whole alternative like boule system set up for that particular honeypot. So this has just been going on as long as our country can possibly remember, probably. And I mean, just look at it. Look at all the documentaries on Netflix about every serial killer, every scandal. Hulu, as soon as a scandal comes out, they've got the cotton candy version of it for you so that you can just absorb it and move back on to, Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? It's like, and you'll hear Trump. I've played clips of Trump saying this basically, ended this war, did this, did that, deliver. So like and they really screwed themselves with this Epstein one, because this is the one that nobody's willing to say, okay, all right, sure. Except people that, watch Megyn Kelly and believe everything that comes out of her face, and Charlie Kirk and these people. So what does it mean? What does it mean in the overall picture? If what I'm saying is, if there's a kernel of truth there, what does it mean to close out all of the old scandals, right? Why is he interested in JFK files, MLK files, RFK files, all these things? I'm going to solve all this.
9/11.
We're going to solve all your problems. Almost all of those problems go back to intelligence agencies, military, lobbyists, bankers, exactly, big pharma, big military. That's where they all lead back to. And those are not partisan entities, my friends. Those are globalist entities. And they don't give a crap about America. They don't give a crap about you. They don't give a crap about me. They don't give a crap about a client list, a John list, a victim list. They're happy to just delete whatever needs to be deleted, tie up any loose ends that need to be tied up. Yep, the conspiracy theorists were all right. They were all correct. And here's why.
So JFK, that's Israel. 9/11, that's Israel. Epstein, that's Israel. There's some of the big ones there. The other ones you mentioned, maybe not. Probably some of them, probably not. But all of those. So Trump's been used to basically quell and bury all of these main, long-running, annoying, grating conspiracies that undermine the fabric of U.S. and the national narrative. And here's the important one. Shelley from the Northwest has said MAGA has been able to play the righteous identity game for over 10 years now, but not anymore. Wow, that's a spot-on comment right there, because that's a big shift. So listen, he only has to blame himself, and they only have to blame themselves. Trump caved. He caves to the neocons. He caves to the lobby. He caves to Wall Street. He caves to everybody. Trump himself is a very weak leader. And they say Biden's weakness. Yeah, Biden had an excuse. He was senile. Okay? Trump doesn't have that excuse. He's just weak. Every time he says, we're going to do this, we're going to end that war, and then all of a sudden the neocons come in. Lindsey Graham comes in and basically strong-armed. Imagine getting strong-armed by Lindsey Graham. I mean, that's not strength. I'm sorry, Donald. Donald Trump is not an alpha male. He's got alpha money, but he's not an alpha male. He's incredibly weak. If he was strong, if he was really America first, if he was really MAGA, he would tell all these foreign interests to take a hike, and he wouldn't be sitting there sucking up to the Gulf Arabs. That was embarrassing. Oh, give us your money, please. Our economy is desperate. I mean, it's humiliation. Trump, and then sucking up to Jelani, the founder of Al-Qaeda in Syria, saying how good-looking and attractive he is and all this other stuff. I mean, it's disgusting. He's sucking up to all the worst people you could possibly, try to publicly kiss up to. And of course, kissing up to Netanyahu, that's almost like expected, of course, but still, it's a bit much. Pulling the chair out for him, and this is a U.S. president. You got people to pull chairs out for you, but you need to show who's in charge, and Netanyahu is in charge clearly. In that relationship, he wears the trousers. I'm sorry, Trump. But Trump has dropped the ball pretty much on everything, and now he's lashing out at Putin, potentially his best friend. If he steered things the right way, Putin could be his greatest friend. Putin is a most successful political leader of the last century, probably. He's been in office. He's improved the country under sanctions. It's still a powerhouse economy. Europe is into the toilet. I mean, talk about success. So Trump has just basically said he's full of shit. He's full of BS. Russia's not full of BS. Russia hasn't changed their tune in 3 years on Ukraine. Trump is flip-flopping every day, and he's calling Putin, saying he's full of BS. So I don't know, Hesher. It's this is the end of the line for MAGA as far as I'm concerned. There's no way they can recover. Why? Because I don't see any truth I don't see any signs of truth, Hesher. I don't see any signs of integrity. I just see more bad moves being made. I see more screw ups. I see more gaslighting. It just doesn't look like you think after all the lawfare and all this stuff. And it's a year. It's a year after his assassination attempt at Butler, Pennsylvania. And guess what? Everybody's like this. Where's the 1 year anniversary? And wasn't this the greatest event, like most crucial, important thing ever? Right? Where is it? That says a lot, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that telling?
Yeah, very, very. And notice they're trying to, if you look at the most recent reports about Butler, Pennsylvania, they're kind of leaving that one open to a little bit of conspiracy theory, a little bit. It's kind of like, yeah, maybe there was something else. It's like dangling conspiracy candy in your face. Like, we knew something was up with that the second it happened. It was easy to spot with our background. It had all the hallmarks, our entire daily shooter taxonomy was encompassed in the 3 different people that they claim attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. And again, let's just we'll put a pin in the fact that we don't have all of the facts, but look at the outcome. The outcome was exactly what we said it was going to be back when it happened. This will elevate him to superstardom in less than 3 minutes. And it did. And, people are still high on that. People are still high on that opium because they didn't have the critical thinking skills to question that and leave it as an open-ended event. So they're going to put a bow on everything from JFK to the most recent murder of a politician. They would put a bow on all that stuff. They got their documentaries about all of it. They got their New York Times articles about all of it. They got Trump's statements, his truth socials about all of it. And according to all of them, these things are all done. And guess what, you stupid pleb? Epstein is done too. Don't talk about it anymore. Who the heck is this guy even? You don't know crap, and you're going to perpetuate more war if you don't shut the F up and just sit down and accept what global government and corporate government tell you.
Yeah. And so speaking of Butler, Pennsylvania, we'll leave it with this comment because it's just poetic how this worked out for us here. Trump is Netanyahu's butler. As we said, Butler, Pennsylvania. I love that. That's just poetic, isn't it? That's just poetic. So, I mean, there's some awesome comments. Thank you, everybody, for participating here, especially on the YouTube streams. And Rumble, too. Rumble. And we got a couple thousand comments in total here, which is great. They've just been flying in. So yeah, it's like there's so many crazy things that are being said here. I can't even. Trump and look, Trump and the ear of miracle healing. Yes, sir. The magical healing ear of Trump. Yes. I got friends who work in the film industry, and I've done some gore as well in the film industry, working on standby props. So I worked with the makeup people who did the fake injuries, and I did a war film once, and I saw how some of this stuff worked. The squibs too, and so they said that the blood on Trump's ear looked exactly like a squib. It looked like it was fake, and these are people who work on this stuff every day, and they said, yeah, that's definitely fake.
It just hit me in the lobe. It heals fast. It's just the lobe.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you're gonna fake an assassination attempt, you're gonna have to get a scar. So these actual cut the ear. I guess Trump wasn't up for that. So I mean, we're speculating here if it was a fake assassination attempt, which is we're being hypothetical. So not to offend anybody if it happens to be real. Look, do you blame us? Where's the inquiry report on the Butler, Pennsylvania thing? Has there been anything? No, there's nothing. Where's the big investigation? No, nothing. But they have a whole ream of stuff on all these other stupid sideshows, right?
Yep. And how real is an event if, like, let's look at the Newburgh sting that the FBI did, or the 93 Trade Center bombings. How real is an event if you've got federal agents entrapping people to do things that entrapping people with low IQs or mental disabilities? Literally, go watch Newburgh Sting if you haven't seen it. They will go after people that are mentally incapable, or people that are, experiencing trauma and expressing that through rage and anger and, ideological means. Like, they will exploit those people. Does that make that incident real? Like, what is real when we have all these shades of influence that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah. Look at this. Another poetic comment here by Scully, the Hypno Skull. The art of the heel. That's right. The art of the heel. Nobody's ear could heal like mine did. Quite frankly, the doctor said they'd never seen anything like it.
I take a lot of creatine. MAGA dose of creatine.
Yep. Butler, PA quickly vanished down the old reliable memory hole. You're darn right it did. You're darn right. So, yeah, that's it. Another daily shooter event.
Yeah. 6777 says, so the firefighter wasn't killed then? No, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying we've seen enough examples of these similar events that do end up, unfortunately, very sadly, with people losing their lives, as far as we can tell. But I would guess if you went and explored that, if you put on your journalist hat and you went and you did some FOIAs and you called some coroners and you called some police stations, you would not get any factual documentation on that man's death. And it would be anathema for you to even ask. That's how they'll treat you for even asking. So it's a valid question, but it's the kind of question that people with an emotional stance take when they hear something that causes dissonance about an event. So, it's like, oh, you're not allowed to ask that. What are you saying? This person didn't die? It's like, no, I'm saying the facts are unavailable. I'm saying the coroner reports are unavailable. I'm saying the police reports have been classified. I'm saying the federal government has come in and taken over the case. And any FOIA that you submit is, if you get it returned at all, is going to be highly redacted. Just like when our friend Mark Anderson did that for the church shooting in South Texas. 70 pages, most of it redacted, most of it black bars.
Redacted. Ooh, why? I wonder why. That's interesting, isn't it? Yes.
And then on top of that, he drove to that church and he inspected it. He looked at it. He took pictures of it. He drove around and he compared that to what was said in the news reports. And it talked about bullets riddling the outside of the building. Not a single window was broken. The stucco was 100 years old. None of the things that were said in the media reports matched up with what he went and saw with his own eyes. And then he submitted requests like a good journalist would, and he got redacted freaking documents. So, you know, I'm not picking on that person. I think they probably know what I'm talking about. That is the kind of question that you get in return when you propose that some of these events are not above board.
Yeah, the shooter who couldn't shoot was in a BlackRock ad. That's true. Ad or documentary, like Omar Mateen, the Pulse nightclub alleged Pulse nightclub shooter. Omar Mateen was in a documentary as well. So both of them kind of character actors, if you will, for major interests. And you know, it's we've been through that before, so we could do a revision course on this, but it does tick all the boxes, folks. So of course we have a right to be skeptical. I'm skeptical because I don't see the all singing and dancing investigation or inquiry. It's like, oh, nothing to see here. We're not going to deal with that. It's over. It served its purpose. So we're done with that. No, I think the American people need to see the full thing on the Butler, Pennsylvania, because it's potentially consequential for U.S. Politics and history. So simple as that. I mean, it doesn't require any further explanation. So anyway, look, we'll wrap this up now. And yeah, I mean, it's funny how it ended there. But anyway, final verdict, folks. It's bad. It's bad. MAGA's toast. We could do an RIP. Bring out the funerary violinists to do a concerto because it's done. It's done. Anyway, Donald Trump, good luck. I hope you make it through the first term without blowing up the world. Sincerely, America, the world. I'm not impressed. I don't think anybody is. Anyway, I think we turned over some important stones today with the Epstein thing. It's a farce. It's a cover-up. And hopefully some of the facts and the real information is going to make it to the surface in due course. I truly think that a lot of it will. A lot of stuff's just going to remain in the denial zone and in the classified zone and the cover-up zone, but not everything. So we'll wait and see. But this is the world we live in, Hesher, and thank you to yourself and Ruckus for chiming in on this one. I think this was a good discussion. So take us away, Hesher, with what's happening this week in the land of the alternate current.
Yeah, well, this was an important discussion, and it's one we've been involved with since we became aware of it, a decade ago or whatever, more than that now. And to see it come to an end with a weak ass psyop whisper from the Trump administration and the lackeys in the mass media cartels is no surprise. No surprise at all. Like I said, shut up, go back to sleep, consume, take your shots, and trust that better people, smarter people are managing your freedom and your path towards liberty and your children's path towards life, liberty, and happiness. Just shut up and trust that they care about that at a high level. Also, as a breadcrumb, someone in the chat, I think his name was John, earlier in the show said, when you were talking about knowing what to search for, they said, type in Pam Bondi and Pfizer. Please, everybody type that in right now. Come on, do it. Do it while we're still on air. Maybe you can get a comment on the screen when we're on the way out. Type in Pam Bondi and Pfizer and tell me what the first 5 articles you see are. And if that doesn't just put another brick in the wall about what we're saying here today, find us on Boiler Room. We're live Thursday nights around 8 p.m. Central. And we just finished one the other night. It's up on the website, alternatecurrentradio.com. So we'll see you there. Thanks for having me, Pat. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hesher. Appreciate it. That's Hesher, folks, host of the Boiler Room at Alternate Current Radio Network. Go to ACR. Links on our show page as well. You can go straight to 21stcenturywire.com. On this show page at the top, you'll see the link to Alternate Current Radio. You can also support ACR, independent media platform, very important one as well. And that will certainly be appreciated by the people at ACR. Take care, Hesher. We'll see you very soon. There it is, folks. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. It's plenty of information and angles there for you to explore. And thank you to our teammates, Hesher and Ruckus, for coming on board there for this important discussion. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is the Sunday Wire. This is our weekly omnibus news and analysis radio program brought to you here on ACR, 21stcenturywire.com, live on Rumble, X, YouTube, Facebook Live, BitChute, as well as the audio streams, Spotify, iTunes. We're on all those platforms as well. So do subscribe to us there. And more importantly, if you like the work that we're doing and you want to support it, you want to see more of it, we're going to need your help to make that happen. And go to 21stcenturywire.com, donate right up there, a little gold button in the upper left-hand part of the screen, just above our logo on the main site. You hit support there, donate, and you'll find the various ways you can support us. We got some great one-time donations as well, lifetime memberships, and subscribe and become a member at 21wire.tv. It's around $5 a month, which isn't too bad. If you're in Europe, you get the benefit of the exchange rate now on that, so it's very affordable, and it funds this operation, the Sunday Wire, the Midweek Wire, all of our other daily pieces of content. We have some excellent content daily on this platform, and thanks to our team here, and we are putting out video content almost every day, shorts, viral films, as well as our two main live shows on Sunday and Wednesday. And also we're adding new content. Obviously, we're wanting to add it in May and June, but we've been busy covering the news and doing our day-to-day, week-to-week work. So we appreciate your patience on that. But the daily reports and research on this site, our site, has never been better. And thanks to Freddie Ponton and some of the other members of our team. It's extraordinary work. So Monday comes and you're going to get very good quality research and archival work, which is on our site. So we have accumulated one of the best archives with the subject area expertise in a lot of important areas to do with geopolitics, especially. Sunday Wire, all the shows are archived. Again, you can go hit the tab. If you missed any of the programs, it's all there. You can watch it on video, or you can listen to it on audio. Your choice. You can download it as well directly from our page, show page there. Just go to the archives. That's every week. So we're 5 till 8 UK time on Sunday, 12 till 3 Eastern Standard. So that's every Sunday. Similar times for the Midweek Wire on Wednesday. Obviously, this is subject to change due to things like logistics and so forth. Again, there might be a slight change for the Midweek Wire this week. We'll let you know. We're on the road during the week, so we'll try to arrange it, but we'll see how it pans out. But that's it. That's the show, folks. That's all we have time for today. It's been great having you. Appreciate it. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We are in algorithm prison with YouTube. They don't like us. They've never liked us. So we have to physically overcome the algorithm. If you're listening to, if anybody's on the stream, it makes a huge difference. Just like and subscribe to this show, this live show on YouTube. It would make a hell of a difference if everyone does that every week. It'll help us break out. They froze us on like 15,000 subscribers for a decade, for 10 years, since 2015. Why? Well, because of the reporting we were doing. And we were repeatedly hit with strikes for nothing. Anytime we'd upload, a new strike. So there's clearly some agenda at YouTube to prevent this platform from growing. And YouTube's won that battle, okay? Who are we to go against YouTube? They dislike what we do. They dislike me. They dislike this 21st Century Wire, and mainly because the reporting we're doing was so successful regarding Syria and some of these other issues that they had no choice but to censor us and put us in algorithmic jail. and they've done it. So we have to physically overcome that. Like and subscribe, especially on YouTube, on Rumble as well. Subscribe on Rumble. That makes a huge difference as well. Ring the bell on those two main platforms, YouTube and Rumble. We appreciate it if you do. It helps us massively because it helps to promote our content a little bit more, so it's seen by more people. So again, thank you so much. That's all we've got time for today. Really excited about Phil Zimmerman's new video. I'm tempted to play it again on the outro because it was so good. But no, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna endeavor to get Phil Zimmerman on the program next week to talk about the video and how it was made. This insane video. Watch the recording of the show. Halfway point, midpoint, we had Lines in the Sky. So Phil's new track, Lines in the Sky. Crazy video. Anyway, that's all we've got time for. We'll take you out with another track we premiered last week by Beady Man Poet, Viva Viva Palestina. Powerful track. Very talented poet from South London. Beady Man. Respect. He's representing, as always. That's all we've got time for. Patrick Henningsen, take care, you guys. I will see you midweek, hopefully, if not next Sunday. But check out 21st Century Wire tomorrow morning, Monday to Friday. We are absolutely hitting it hard on content. So do enjoy and support us if you're able to. We need it. We really, really need it. Anyway, take care. All the best.
If hope was a race, then it's finished. And if death has a smell, you can smell it. Where limited freedom is diminished. And if evil has a touch, you have felt it. Where there's no safe place to rest your head. And a child's greatest dream is for a loaf of bread in the rubble. She uncontrollably cries, a limbless child with lifeless eyes. Bombs relentlessly rain down from the skies to claim more hopes, more dreams, more lives. He tricks you into thinking that he doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. I see you all shutting your eyes to unending heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine. Shaban Adalu, we remember your name. Hooked up to an ivy and engulfed in flame. I really don't know if I'll ever be the same after witnessing these images and feeling his pain. I sit here in comfort and the tears fall from my eyes, feeling totally hopeless, watching you get terrorized. He tricked you into thinking that doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. I see you all shutting your eyes to unending heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine. You see, when ignorance screams, intelligence stays silent. You can't reason with a fanatic, they'll just resort to being violent. An asymmetry of info that promotes the oppressor, whilst a name Palestine becomes a victim of the censor. The Palestinian people remain victim to the occupier, and the Zionist aggressor just plays a victim forever. 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 He tricks you into thinking that he doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. I see you shutting your eyes to unending heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine. Wherever you find oppression, you'll also find resistance. You label them as terrorists, I see them fighting for existence. He tricked you into thinking that he doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. I see you all shutting your eyes to unending, heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine.
Unpainted. All of the games they left unplayed. All the laughter in the playground. All of the arts they never made. Ghost faces of a million Palestinian children. All of those voices left in silence. All with their names written in kind. Lest their bodies pulled from rubble. Lifeless empty dolls to find. Ghost faces of a million Palestinian children. What of the songs they've never written? What of the words they'll never sing? And the darkness of the nightmare, inescapable their dreams. The ghost faces of a million Palestinian children. I hear the crying, helpless children, God's most precious and most dear. I hear them begging for the reason. How could you ever leave us here? I close the eyelids of a million Palestinian children. So what do we really stand for? Is this how our future's made? And when we ever find the courage to stand up unafraid, I tear away the persecution of the Palestinian children. Rise up and be the guardians of the Palestinian children. Respect our obligation, every creed and every nation, cause every soul deserves protection. Save the Palestinian children. Save the Palestinian children.